John Monroe here in Glasgow, where I am up here for a couple days visiting friends and family, hanging out in the city. And I just wanted to make a little video about some of the cycling and walking infrastructure changes and improvements that they've made since the last time I was here a year and a half ago. And so I'm here at the Sighthill Bridge, which was under construction the last time I was here. And now it's finished. So this is quite a significant development. And it's interesting because it doesn't solve the problem of the M8, which there is a very important campaign in this city to replace the M8, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that develops over time. But for the moment, this is a really great connector for walking and cycling, walking and wheeling, to get from this area on this side, in which there's some new housing development, but clearly a lot more to come, enabling people to get across this big barrier of a freeway over to the other side. So I start here. This will be a quick look. I don't have too much time, so this will be a quick look at a few of the infrastructure changes and developments that I was looking forward to having a look at or heard about. So let me move on from here. Well, actually, let's take a look at what it looks like to ride down the this nice looking ramp on the other side here. Let's have a quick look at it. So let me ride down there and head off to Trongate. Okay, let's get the handlebar perspective on this. So approaching the plaza to cross the bridge again. See these marks on this ledge? That means this place is being used for skateboarding, which is also a very good sign of good use of public space. Okay, let's cross. Oh, it's freeway below, but up here it is really nice. Okay, so let's see. It looks like a windy ramp. It looks like it might be kind of fun, which is maybe the first point I want to make. I want to make a larger point in this video, but let me just say for now, infrastructure can be fun. Look at this. How much kids would love zipping down here. I'm enjoying it. In other cities, the ramp access to a bridge such as this one, if they ever made a walking and cycling bridge, would probably be one of those back and forth ramps that are just, you can't really cycle up them. You have to kind of walk your bike. Very unpleasant, and just takes out any joy that might be part of it. Okay, so from here, I'm going to make my way to Trongate. Okay, this is Trongate. And in the few minutes it took me to ride over here, it poured with rain, and then the sun came back out. So welcome to Glasgow. And I just see this little map here, which is actually quite helpful, because I'm not totally sure where I'm going to go, but I think it's kind of, you are here. I'm going to try to go along Trongate here. And it looks like we've got a cycle route down King Street, Bridgegate, this is the one I want, across the River Clyde on the Victoria Bridge and into the south part of the city. So I think this is a new cycle route that they've just put in, and so I will check it out. Okay, here we go. Bit of a bus lane here, but I think what I want is this left. No, not yet. So that's the other thing, just checking out a bike route for the first time. It should be pretty obvious where to go. So King Street is the one I want. Straight ahead, except cycles. This is probably my left turn. Yes, here I can see the bike lane. Great. Okay, so let me say what the main point that I want to make in this video is, aside from visiting Glasgow, which is nice to do, and see what they've done, or some of what they've done, because there's a lot they've done that I'm not going to have a chance to look at here. but to see some of what they've done in the last year and a half that I've been here. And the point is basically just to say it's possible. Positive changes are possible. It's so basic, but for cycling and walking, all too rare. And in cities across the UK, especially Birmingham, where I live, where right now we're in yet another cycle of pedestrian and cyclist killings, one after another, and no infrastructural changes to try to improve things and to try to share the public space of the roads between different modes, not just keeping it all for car owners, which in Birmingham is very much the case. So that's the point. But the kind of emphasis, though, within that point of change, positive change for cycling and walking is actually possible, even though in some cities it seems like it's not possible because so little changes. But also is to make the point, especially, that it's been, I mean, this is quite good, first of all. Let me notice what I'm on here. Is that a year and a half in terms of infrastructure is a very short amount of time. So to see a city that's made any progress of any sort in getting stuff implemented is really impressive. So for Glasgow to have multiple things that they've been able to achieve in such a short amount of time says quite a bit about this city and quite a bit about the priorities. I mean, they have a long, long way to go because the city has been, the M8 is the best example, but just very, very designed for car owners in the kind of mid and sort of 3/4 of the way through the 20th century. It's a lot to undo. But for cities, the question is what to do in the face of that. Get to work on undoing it and actually making a fairer, more accessible, greener city, or just do nothing and just cater to the one constituency within the urban space. Okay, so here a crossing, pretty well signed. Getting over here. So, yeah, Birmingham has one cycle lane that's like this, that runs from north of the city, a place called Perry Bar, all the way to the University of Birmingham. It has a massive gap in the middle where you have to navigate the city center with no cycle lanes. So it's okay as far as it goes, but it's also at least 5 years old. And nothing's really been added since then. Again, good luck with the lights here. Okay, cool. Over the bridge. This is easy. Thank you. A little bit windy, but very pleasant. Wow, this is so good. I'm gonna have to look on Google Street View to see what this bridge looked like before. Probably a lot more space for cars, I imagine. And now there's this. So I'll ride on this bike lane up to cycle lane, I should say. It's a better term. I'll ride on this cycle lane until it joins with, I think it's Victoria Road, which is one of the cycle lanes that I've been on before. That one was in place the last time I was here. And so this is just another connector to it, going from the Trongate part of the city and connecting to Victoria Road, from which you can go point south from there as well. And so it's also good to see that what Glasgow seems to be doing is working with the point that putting in one cycle lane is good, but people need to be able to get to it and from it. So each piece of new infrastructure you put in that enables people to move around their cities without cars just raises the question of what the next piece of infrastructure is going to be. Because like with car infrastructure, if you have one road and then you can't drive anywhere to it or from it, wouldn't be much good. So obviously the same applies to other ways of getting around. And so what's particularly nice about this is it's not just the cycle lane in and of itself, but the fact that it's a connector and therefore part of a larger network, which if you don't have that, you don't have much. Now, which way? I'm not sure. Let me see. Oh yeah, okay, I get it. All right. This is pretty good. Okay, so it looks like they've kind of divided up the pavement here between cycling and walking lanes. Windy. So I should say what time it is. It's 10 after 10 in the morning, so I'm after the morning rush hour. Oh, this is so stress-free. I'm here with my family, but they're just relaxing right now. They're less enthusiastic than I am about infrastructure tours. But if we were traveling this way to get somewhere, I would be very relaxed, as opposed to the usual levels of stress that I feel when riding around with my kids. Okay, so I think this is Victoria Road coming up here. We should connect to the, I think I recognize this. We should connect from here. Let's see, how does this work? Stay in this lane, I guess. Rain's coming on. Okay, so I think I'm connected to the cycle lane that existed before at this point. So, pretty good. An important piece of the network in place. Okay, great, so let me cut this here. I'm just gonna jump ahead because I think at the end of this road, there's another new little piece that I want to take a quick look at before doubling back. So let me jump ahead. Okay, I'm now a little past the south end of Victoria Road on Langside Road, where it meets Grange Road. And what you have here is a really interesting trio of forms of cycle lane, kind of in different levels of development. So here's a lane that's been here for some time, I'm not sure, and it's got these bumps. I'm no expert, but whatever these are called, a kind of form of protection that's a little better than paint, but not much, because obviously if a car swerved over those, it would just do so. Then the lane extends over here, and then it goes out to a painted lane. As you get to the junction, it's kind of hard to see because of all these pylons and stuff on top. But what they're really doing here, the main story here, is what they're doing just a little further down is putting in a properly protected lane. So the idea that that paint is not protection is being listened to here, and it looks like they're putting in something quite substantial and quite a bit better. I'll go into the park and see if I can get a better look at it from there. Okay, so here I am in Queen's Park, just on the other side of the fence from where I was before, just to give another quick view here. This is really impressive. Okay, so there's where I was standing before, and now we've got this whole junction here and the protected lane that's gonna run, it looks like, all the way down this road. So where there once, very recently, was clearly a space that was not safe for everybody to use, they are committing resources to making it usable and accessible for everyone. Let's get one more look here. And then running right down this road. Okay, just one more look at this lane. I'm a bit further down the road now. But just to give a sense of it, it's nice and wide. Clearly they've made less space for cars on this road, which is always positive. And it goes for quite a distance. So this will be another thing to see. It's not quite finished, but another thing to see the next time I come here. And this is another thing about what Glasgow's doing is it just gives people more and more reasons to keep coming back with all these ongoing improvements. It's not just a one visit, see what they've done, and now you know. It's something that very much compels repeat visits to the city. Also happy to report the sun is out. Okay, so now I'm in Partick at Byers Road, which is a very busy road in the city, but one that, again, you can see they've just put in a really impressive new cycle lane here as well. And this must have been quite a trick to do because there are so many residences, so many businesses. This is right next to the university. And so I wanted to get a local perspective on this. So I found, it turns out, another Canadian, my friend Mike, who's a mathematician who works in the maths building here at the University of Glasgow, just around the corner. So Mike, I was hoping you could just say a little bit, and Mike cycles or sometimes walks to work, and I just wanted to get your sense of like what you think of these changes that have happened here.
Yeah, so it's pretty exciting. This is apparently was one of the most dangerous roads in all of Scotland for cycling.
I see.
And they've managed to get the businesses and the city to agree to put in a dedicated cycle path on the road, and I'm really happy with it so far. I mean, of course it has its structural problems. The infrastructure isn't perfect, but we're getting there. You can see that it's possible for doors of these trucks to open, onto the cycle lane, which is obviously a problem. But they are putting things like these double yellow lines, so that people can't park. Obviously, this person.
But no physical barriers to stop that. We can also see. The lane isn't officially open, so I guess this is technically not so bad. But when the lane is open, it'll still be possible for people to do this. Physically possible, if legally not permissible. So. And
it's illegal right now. There's a double.
Good point. Good point. Good point.
And this is fairly typical in the city. I mean, this just happens.
People
park on bike lanes, and maybe we'll go around the corner and look at one where there isn't any double lines, and you'll see that actually people park there all the time, and it's very annoying. Why put in a bike lane if you're not actually going to stop people from parking on it?
Very good point. Okay, good. Well, let's go take a look at this other spot then as well. Okay, I'm here at the Transport Museum. A little bit of rain again here, but just to have a look at this new bridge that's going in. On the theme here of reasons to keep coming back and things they keep doing. Quick look here as the walkway up. So it's the neighborhood of Partick on this side, which should be reconnected to the neighborhood of Govan on the other, and it looks like there's some housing over there, some new housing going in, and of course raising the question of always the relationship between democratic mobility and affordable housing. Really important for a city, and I don't know what the story is over there, but let's hope that there's a mix of affordable housing with the new housing that seems to be going in. And let me just point out one other thing while I'm here. Look at this. Just a little bit of skateboard infrastructure in the city, purpose-built for that, which just reminds us that skateboarding doesn't have to happen in a special skateboard park that you travel to in a car. No less, but actually just something that can be woven into the sensibility of the city, and that's what we have here in Glasgow. But again, just look at this bridge. This is going to be amazing. I was just talking to someone here before I filmed this clip who just rode up on his bike and was just so looking forward to what this is going to mean for people getting around this area. So things to come. Okay, so now we're at this other spot that you were mentioning. So what's the difference?
Yeah, so here you can see that there's no protection from cars parking here at all, and during term, so this is our new James McEwen Smith teaching hub.
Yeah.
And there's a huge number of classrooms in here, and so students come up in their cars and get dropped off, and people can park all over the place here.
Right.
And it makes the cycle lane virtually ineffective. I mean, there's nothing stopping it.
Right.
So, of course, what we'd like to see, especially since this is a university ground, is a cycle lane that's actually protected from the cars, so some sort of barrier stopping the cars. And then also, there's huge numbers of students that walk up and down this between classes, and often a student will step into the cycle lane to go around someone.
Yeah.
The cyclist is either going to run into the person, or swerve out and get run over by a car, or both. I mean, this happened to one of my students when we were walking up to the main building. And so I don't know.
Was everyone okay?
Everyone was all right. Yeah,
okay.
Everyone was shaken, of course. I mean, the cyclist hit the student, and then swerved out and got hit by a car, but was rattled, but all right.
Wow, could have been so much
and the
worse.
student was rattled.
Yeah.
I was obviously left to pick up the pieces,
right.
which was not ideal.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, when you bother to build, like, this all got repaved, all got redone only in 2019. 2020. And there's this huge opportunity for them to actually do things right, and they just didn't. So maybe there wasn't enough advocates at the time, I'm not sure.
Maybe, but it's also a reminder that universities, also true of the University of Birmingham where I work, like big important institutions in cities have a role to play in there, often not playing it in the way that they should in order to put pressure. The university doesn't own this space, I'm sure, because it's a public roadway, but they can certainly put pressure on whoever is in charge of this to put in something.
In terms of special interest groups.
Yeah, exactly. To make sure situations like the one you just mentioned don't happen again. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, thanks, Mike. Nice talking to you here.
Totally.
Okay, last stop. Back above the hated M8. There it is. Replace the M8 is the term to remember. But what I'm noticing here, I've been on this pedestrian bridge before, more than once, but what I'm seeing here is I'm not sure. And so this is, again, kind of in the theme of reasons to come back to Glasgow, a city that is dynamically making changes and continuing to do so to make, I don't know what this is going to be, but given what else we've seen, I think it's fair to imagine that this might be another infrastructural improvement. Again, unfortunately, it doesn't look like one that's going to address the actual issue of the M8, but still, maybe there'll be something going on here. So this will be one to watch and have a look at. But the point stands. The larger point is, again, especially visiting Glasgow from a place like Birmingham, where the death toll continues to mount as cyclists and pedestrians are killed over and over in the city, and no one seems to be putting forward, or at least there isn't any evidence on the ground of actual infrastructural changes. The thing that's going to change this, asking for behavior change from drivers, asking for more police enforcement, those aren't solutions. The solutions are what we're seeing in this city, actual infrastructural changes that are going to make less space for cars in cities, which take up far too much space as it is, and also enable safe mobility for people who are traveling by other means. So thanks, Glasgow. Look forward to seeing you next time.